On February 10th, 2026, the European Parliament voted to advance a digital currency that every merchant in the Eurozone will be required to accept, every payment provider required to support it, every citizen assigned access to it. The vote passed with minimal public debate. No referendum, no public consultation. But Europe didn't act alone. Right now, 137 countries, representing 98% of global GDP, are building the same system, Central Bank Digital Currencies. Government-issued, government-tracked, government-programmable money designed to replace the cash in your wallet. China has already processed $2.37 trillion through its version. And on January 1st, 2026, Beijing upgraded the digital yuan from digital cash to digital deposit money, meaning your bank balance and your government's currency merge into a single ledger they control. The infrastructure is live. The legislation is moving. Pilots are running in 49 countries at the same time. And the cash in your pocket, it has an expiration date, not printed on it, programmed into the system replacing it. 137 countries agreed. You were never asked. And this is how the replacement begins. In May of 2020, just 35 countries were exploring a central bank digital currency. By mid-2025, that number was 137, a 291% increase in 5 years. This wasn't gradual adoption. It was coordinated acceleration. The Bank for International Settlements, the central bank of central banks based in Basel, Switzerland, surveyed 93 central banks in late 2024. 91% of them were actively building either a retail CBDC, a wholesale CBDC, or both. Not researching, not considering, building. A retail CBDC is the version that reaches your wallet. It replaces the bills in your pocket with digital currency issued directly by the central bank, tracked on a government-managed ledger, and programmable in ways cash never could be. A wholesale CBDC operates between banks. It's the settlement layer, invisible to you, but it rewires how money moves between institutions and across borders. Think of it as the plumbing. When they replace the plumbing, they control the water. The architecture follows the same pattern in nearly every country. The central bank issues the currency and controls the infrastructure. Commercial banks distribute it to citizens. You never interact with the central bank directly, but the central bank sees every transaction that flows through the system. 3 countries have already crossed the finish line. The Bahamas launched the sand dollar in October 2020. Jamaica legalized Jamdex in 2022. The first CBDC granted legal tender status. Nigeria launched the Naira in 2021. And behind them, 49 active pilot programs running simultaneously around the world. India, Brazil, Kazakhstan, Russia, Australia, Singapore, the European Central Bank, the Bank of England. The list reads like a roster of the global financial order, but here's what receives almost no attention. Not a single one of these programs was approved by a public vote. Not one was put to a referendum. Not one required direct consent from the citizens whose money is being redesigned. In 64 countries, initial legislation has already been passed enabling central banks to issue CBDCs. In most cases, the authority was granted through executive action or regulatory mandate. The blueprint was drawn, the foundation was poured, and the public was never consulted. If you want to see where this is going, look at where it already arrived. China's digital yuan, the e-CNY, is the largest central bank digital currency experiment in human history. By the end of November 2025, it had processed 3.48 billion transactions worth 16.7 trillion yuan. That's approximately 2.37 trillion US dollars, 230 million personal wallets, 19 million corporate accounts. Transaction volume up over 800% since 2023. And then, on January 1st, 2026, Beijing did something no other country has done. The People's Bank of China activated a new framework that transforms the digital yuan from digital cash into digital deposit money. Under this system, commercial banks will pay interest on verified e-CNY wallet balances, just like a traditional savings account. Your digital yuan is no longer just a payment tool. It's a bank deposit, held on a government-designed ledger subject to reserve requirements and classified as a bank liability. This is the merger. The line between your money and the state's money dissolves. Your wallet becomes their ledger, and it doesn't stop at the border. China's mBridge network, a cross-border CBDC settlement platform, has processed over 4,000 payments worth 387 billion yuan. Over 95% of those settlements were conducted in the digital yuan. The partners, Thailand, the UAE, Hong Kong, Saudi Arabia, all connected to Beijing's settlement rail. Now consider this. In December 2025, Chinese authorities shut down more than 400,000 Bitcoin miners in Xinjiang province. This came despite a 2021 mining ban that was supposed to have already ended the practice. The message is clear. Build the state currency, destroy the alternatives. The People's Bank of China even established an international digital Yuan operation center in Shanghai in September 2025. That's not a pilot. Office, that's a command center for global deployment. Europe isn't copying China's model. It's building its own, with one critical difference. In China, adoption is incentivized. In Europe, it will be compulsory. The European Central Bank launched its digital euro preparation phase in November 2023. For 2 years, they finalized a rulebook, selected technology providers, and designed the architecture. In October 2025, the ECB's Governing Council announced the preparation phase was complete and moved to the next stage, building technical capacity for launch. Then, on February 10, 2026, the European Parliament voted to advance both the online and offline versions of the digital euro. This wasn't a discussion, it was a mandate in motion. The ECB's timeline, legislation adopted by late 2026. A 12-month pilot beginning in the second half of 2027. And if everything stays on schedule, the digital euro goes live in 2029. The total cost to build it, 1.3 billion euros. Annual operating cost. After that, 120 million euros per year. But the cost isn't the story. The design is. Under the proposed regulation, acceptance of the digital euro will be mandatory. Every merchant in the Eurozone will be required to accept it. Every payment service provider will be required to integrate it. The ECB will publish a call for expressions of interest in the first quarter of 2026, inviting licensed payment institutions to participate in the pilot. The ECB says this is about freedom. In September 2025, the ECB began marketing the digital euro as a tool for freedom. In November, board member Piero Cipollone argued it would empower Europe through convenience, innovation, and autonomy. But in the same statement, Cipollone said the digital euro is needed to combat non-European payment services. He was referring to Visa, MasterCard, and American payment technology companies, which currently handle 69% of all card payments in the Eurozone. So it's a freedom tool that's mandatory. It's about citizen empowerment, but it's also an economic weapon against foreign payment networks. And it's framed as privacy-preserving, even though the ECB's own analysis identified a potential 699 billion euro bank run under a 3,000 euro holding limit, suggesting the system's architecture requires control mechanisms that don't exist in cash. The contradiction isn't a flaw, it's the architecture. On January 23, 2025, President Donald Trump signed an executive order titled Strengthening American Leadership in Digital Financial Technology. The order prohibited every federal agency from establishing, issuing, or promoting a central bank digital currency. It terminated all existing plans. It was the most definitive rejection of state-controlled digital money by any major economy in the world. 6 months later, the House of Representatives passed the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act by a vote of 219 to 210, codifying the ban into law and prohibiting the Federal Reserve from ever issuing a CBDC directly to individuals. The rhetoric was unambiguous. Supporters called CBDCs a tool for tyrants. They cited China's digital yuan as a model of state surveillance. They invoked the Fourth Amendment. They pointed to Canada's 2022 freezing of trucker protesters' bank accounts as proof of what happens when governments control digital money. On paper, the United States is the only major economy to formally reject a CBDC. But here's what they didn't ban. The United States continues to participate in Project Agora, a cross-border wholesale CBDC research initiative run by the Bank for International Settlements in collaboration with 6 other major central banks, including the Bank of France, the Bank of Japan, the Bank of Korea, the Bank of Mexico, the Swiss National Bank, and the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. They banned the retail product, the one you'd use. They kept the wholesale infrastructure, the one banks use. The plumbing stayed connected. And then, on July 18, 2025, President Trump signed the Genius Act, the Guiding and Establishing National Innovation for U.S. Stablecoins Act. This legislation created a comprehensive regulatory framework for private dollar-denominated stablecoins. 99% of all stablecoins in existence are pegged to the U.S. dollar. Tether alone reported $13.7 billion in profits for 2025. The strategy becomes visible. The United States didn't reject digital currency, it privatized it. Instead of the Federal Reserve issuing a digital dollar, private companies will, under federal licensing, with reserve requirements and with government oversight. The question you need to ask is this: does it matter whether your digital dollar is issued by the Federal Reserve or by a private corporation? If the ledger, the tracking, and the infrastructure are the same, the 3 largest CBDC stories, China, Europe, and the American paradox, are the ones making headlines. But the pipeline behind them is where the real acceleration is happening. Kazakhstan launched its digital tenge in pilot mode in November 2023. with a full launch planned by the end of 2025. It supports programmability, settlement for digital assets, and cross-border payments. Russia plans to enable digital ruble transactions through its largest banks by September 2026. Brazil is launching its Drex CBDC in 2026 in 2 phases. Sweden's Riksbank announced plans to move its e-krona from pilot to full deployment in early 2026. India's digital rupee, already the second largest CBDC pilot in the world, saw circulation rise 334% in a single year, from $28 million to $122 million by March 2025. India is now expanding the e-rupee with offline functionality, programmability features, and cross-border pilots. The Bank of England has established a digital pound lab to test use cases with private industry. Japan is deciding whether to launch a digital yen by 2026. Australia ran cross-border trials of its EAUD with Singapore and New Zealand. Nepal is beginning preliminary pilot testing. And across sub-Saharan Africa, an IMF survey found that 75% of countries are currently engaged or planning to engage in CBDC development, with more than a quarter actively preparing for a retail CBDC launch by 2028. These decisions are not being made in isolation. They're being coordinated through multilateral institutions, the Bank for International Settlements, the International Monetary Fund, and cross-border platforms like Project mBridge and Project Agora. The IMF has published a multi-volume CBDC handbook providing frameworks, design guidance, and implementation roadmaps to central banks worldwide. A third installment is scheduled for 2025. The convergence isn't coincidence, it's coordination. Everything you've heard so far, the 137 countries, the trillion-dollar pilots, the legislation, the coordination, it means nothing until you understand what it means for you, specifically, personally. In the next 5 years, let's start with what's disappearing. Cash. In France, cash was used in 68% of in-store transactions in 2016. By 2024, that number was 42%. In Sweden, cash transactions have fallen below 10%. The trajectory is the same in nearly every developed economy. And it's accelerating. Central banks say they will continue to support cash as long as there is demand. But demand is being engineered downward by reducing ATM networks, by incentivizing digital payments, and now by building state-issued digital alternatives that merchants will be legally required to accept. When the infrastructure for cash shrinks and the infrastructure for digital currency expands, choice doesn't disappear overnight. It erodes. Now let's talk about what replaces it. CBDCs are designed with features that cash does not and cannot have: holding limits. The European Central Bank is designing the digital euro with a cap on how much any individual can hold, currently under discussion between 500 and 3,000 euros. This means the government determines the maximum amount of central bank money you're allowed to possess in digital form. Cash has no such limit. Your wallet has no cap. Programmability. Multiple CBDC designs, including China's, Kazakhstan's, and several under development in emerging markets, include programmable features. This means the money itself can be coded with conditions, expiration dates, geographic restrictions, spending categories. China has already tested time-limited digital Yuan that must be spent within a defined window, or it expires. Surveillance architecture. Every CBDC operates on a ledger managed or audited by the government. The ECB says online digital euro transactions will use pseudonymization, meaning they won't see your name directly, but the data infrastructure exists to connect your identity to your transactions if required. Offline payments are promised to offer cash-like privacy. But the design requires both the payer and payee to use government-issued wallets running on government-designed software. And here's the number that should concern you most. The ECB's own financial stability analysis found that even with a conservative 3,000 euro holding limit, a flight from bank deposits to digital euros could reach 699 billion euros under stress conditions. That's not a theoretical risk. That's the ECB's own projection of what their own system could trigger. Meanwhile, adoption of existing live CBDCs tells a different story. In the Bahamas, the sand dollar represents just 0.5% of banknotes in circulation. In Jamaica, Jamdex accounts for 0.1% of money in circulation. Citizens aren't choosing these systems, but the infrastructure is being built regardless of demand. That's the pattern. It's not adoption-driven, it's infrastructure-driven. They're not building this because you asked for it. They're building it because the system requires it. China showed the template. Build the system. Make it interest-bearing so it competes with private options. Shut down the alternatives. Then wait. On January 1st, 2026, the People's Bank of China reclassified every digital Yuan wallet as a bank deposit liability, protected by deposit insurance, subject to reserve requirements, integrated into the banking system. The deputy governor of the PBOC said it himself. The digital Yuan is transitioning from the era of digital cash to the era of digital deposit currency. That sentence should stay with you, because it's not a Chinese sentence, it's a blueprint sentence, and 136 other countries are reading it. You now know the architecture. 137 countries, 49 active pilots, 3 live deployments, $2.37 trillion already processed through China's system alone. The European Parliament voting to advance mandatory digital currency adoption. 18 days ago, the United States banning retail CBDCs while quietly building the wholesale infrastructure and licensing private companies to issue digital dollars. This isn't a conspiracy, it's a convergence. Every data point in this briefing is sourced from central bank publications, legislative records, and multilateral institution reports. The architecture is documented. The timeline is public. The coordination is visible to anyone who looks. But visibility is not the same as awareness. The gap between what is happening and what people know is happening, that gap is the real risk. Here is the one thing to watch. In the first quarter of 2026, the European Central Bank will issue a formal call for expressions of interest, inviting licensed payment institutions across the Eurozone to participate in the digital Euro pilot. That call is the trigger. Once payment providers are selected and integrated, the 2029 launch becomes functionally irreversible. Institutional momentum replaces political will. The machine builds itself. If that call goes out on schedule, and every indication says it will, then the window for public debate on whether this should happen narrows to almost nothing. The question was never whether digital currency would come. It was whether you'd have a say in how it works. 137 countries already answered that question for you. This has been an Empire of Secrets intelligence briefing. If this is the first time you've encountered this channel, we don't speculate, we document. Every claim in this briefing is verifiable. The sources are listed in the description below. If you want to stay ahead of the systems being built around your money, subscribe now. You'll need what comes next. Because next time, we go back to where this all started. Before the digital ledgers, before the central banks, before Bretton Woods, there was a single moment, a single decision by one man that triggered the greatest financial collapse in modern history. Episode 7, the man who triggered the 1929 Great Depression. And why the system he broke is the one they're rebuilding now. Leave a comment below. What country are you in? And has your central bank announced a CBDC? Build the map with us. The map we build together might be the only warning we get.